Hello, Cancer. Welcome to your Spiritual Revolution guidance reading for the month of Cancer. So, this is your month, and we are going to get some messages from your guides because we're in a spiritual war and you're being called to be a participant in the spiritual revolution, whatever that means to you. And there's guidance that we all need. And in this month, this is your month. Happy birthday to all the beautiful Cancers out there. This runs from June 21st until July 21st. And in this month, we have a lot going on. So on June 29th, we have the full moon in Capricorn. And we also have Mercury, which is stationing retrograde on that day as well in your sign. And that is going to last until July 23rd. And then on June 29th, we also have Jupiter, which is transiting into Leo. And on July 14th, we have the new moon in Cancer in your sign. So this is really this is your solar return. This is a reset. This is really a time to, especially with this Mercury retrograde in Cancer in your sign, this is really a time to reflect on the past year and what went well, what was serving you, what no longer has a place in your life and can be left behind, and really take a moment to slow down, be introspective, and to reflect on your life, and not to make any big changes, but really to enjoy the moment and perhaps journal. Maybe I don't know if you wrote intentions last year on your birthday, but to go back to where were you a year ago, where are you now, what has changed, and what do you want for the next year. I would suggest you could write down intentions for yourself for the next year, and to kind of manifest what you want this next year to bring. So we're going to tap into your overarching energy for this month of Cancer, and then we'll get into some details and see what kind of messages come through for you. So first of all, the chakra that you're being asked to connect to is your crown chakra, and this is intelligence. And when I think of this kind of intelligence, yes, it is book knowledge and education. Those words are on here, knowledge and education, but it's also perception and flexibility, and it's about illumination and the intelligence and the wisdom of the universe that is inherent, that exists within all of us, and really being open to all of that and letting it pour in, because this is the time for you to really connect with yourself in your month and to your guides. So Cancer is a very emotionally connected, very sensitive sign, but it's also very intuitive. It is the moon, and the moon is a source of psychic powers, psychic gifts that you naturally have access to. And so opening your crown to that is going to help you to embrace this intelligence and this knowledge, and to look at things in a different perspective. So that's one of the themes for this month. And then you also have empathy, which is moon in Pisces, which is another very intuitive water sign. So it feels like a lot of water energy for your month, of course. And empathy, you are naturally empathetic. Cancer, you are the type of person that people just naturally feel drawn and safe connecting with you. They'll tell you anything. Like, you could know someone for 2 minutes, and then all of a sudden you know their entire history, their deepest secrets, their fears, conflicts that are going on in their life right now. They just feel safe opening up to you because you provide, whether you're aware of it or not, you have this nurturing aura. You have this very empathetic aura, and you're being asked to tap into that this month which makes sense because that's very much a part of your nature. It's very natural to you. And perhaps it's been hard for you to connect to that lately, just because of everything that's going on in the world. There's a lot that it's very dark and chaotic, and maybe you've closed yourself off a little bit. Cancer, you're the crab. You have that hard shell, and there is a potential to close yourself off, and to not be vulnerable. And you don't necessarily have to be vulnerable to be empathetic. It's a matter of balance. How do you protect yourself and your energy while you're still being a support to those around you? And I think that those two things are really going to be prevalent for you in this month. So let's get some details. Let's find out what's going on. Okay. And how do we want these? Okay. Outcomes. All right, here we go. Okay, so the energy that you are bringing into this month of Cancer, kind of your background energy, is the moon. The moon. What have I been saying? You are ruled by the moon. Cancer is ruled by the moon. The moon changes signs every 2.5 to 3 days, which is why you kind of feel every couple days like a different person. Like, your emotions can fluctuate very quickly, and you don't hold on to the same, like you don't always get stuck in the same patterns of emotionality. However, it can show up next month. It comes more in cycles, I would say, rather than, kind of being stuck there, because the moon is constantly shifting. So you are constantly shifting. And the moon also is about our illusions. Are we seeing things clearly? So it feels like over the past few months, what you're bringing into this month is perhaps there has been some illusion. There's been some confusion. You haven't been seeing things for exactly as they are in your life, whether this is in your career, in your relationships with your family, or even yourself. If you've been triggered by things that are going on in your life, are you actually seeing, what is the root cause? What is really behind that trigger, rather than just the surface behind, in front of it? And because this is your background energy, you're being asked to kind of leave that in the past and to really reconnect to your authentic truth, because we are moving into your season. This is Cancer season. This is a time for you. Like, the sun is illuminating you and asking you to really express your truth. And in order to do that, you need to leave these illusions behind. And be really honest with yourself as to what it is that you're experiencing, what your role is in your relationships and in your experiences, and whether you're being fair to yourself and to others. Because I think, Cancer, there's also a tendency to blame yourself for a lot of things, and I think that that's kind of where this illusion comes in. You have this almost like this tendency to really take on the pain, the stress, the strife of others as if it's your own personal burden to bear. And that is not what empathy is all about. Empathy is actually, yes, it's putting ourselves in the position of another person, but from a more detached perspective. It's not as though you're like, oh, you're in pain, let me take it all on me, or, oh, there's this conflict, it's all my fault, and smoothing things over that way. It's more like taking an objective perspective at what the other person's going through, understanding, like, oh, yes, I've been in this position, I know what that feels like, but still recognizing that this is theirs to bear. This is their lesson, their journey. And while I can feel for them and support them from over here, I don't have to take it all on myself, and actually allow them the space to have their own experience, if that makes sense. So I think that that's what that is asking you to consider and to kind of leave behind as we're moving into this month. And your energy for this month, the month of Cancer, is the Eight of Pentacles. And so the Eight of Pentacles is about a master in your craft. So I think that this is connecting to this card of intelligence and knowing that you have a lot of intelligence and wisdom and that you work hard. You are really good at what you do. And I want to tie this back to supporting people. You are so good at supporting people. This is why people come to you and want to talk to you and get your perception and your advice on things, is because you are, you put a lot of thought and feeling into everything that you do. And you can be a little bit of a perfectionist because, again, that vulnerability you're not super comfortable with all the time. But what this is really asking you to do is to connect to your strengths, of which you have many, and to reconnect with the things that you are really, really good at. It feels like that there's perhaps some creative projects or some ideas or things that you kind of put to the side because you got busy in the day to day or you got overwhelmed by the world. I mean, fair. Like I said, there's a spiritual war going on. But what you're really being called is to channel your energy into the things that you do well. And it feels very creative, like something that you're doing with your hands, whether this is cooking or whether this is an art project. It could be building something or gardening. This is a great time for being outside and doing, the landscaping and things like that. And it feels like that's really what you're being called, is to connect to your strengths and really connect to yourself, what makes you happy. And in doing so, we're going to tap into your outcome energy. And so for your outcome energy, we have, first of all, Judgment. So this is leading us towards the end of Cancer season. And Judgment is about this higher path, your higher purpose, and really connecting to that. So by removing the illusions, by connecting to your strengths and what you love to do, this is going to bring you to a place where you feel like you are living your truth, that you are contributing to humanity in a very positive, authentic way, and that you are, like being an example to the world for what that looks like to live on your path. Perhaps that's something that you've been disconnected from for a bit. It really feels like, Cancer, that you've been almost living your life for other people. And like that came through very strongly right now, that you've been living your life for other people, whether that's for your children, for your partner, for your work, for your boss, for your community, for everyone else. But now is really the time for you to reconnect to you. And by doing so, that's not selfish. It doesn't mean that you're not going to help other people, but in fact, this is going to help you really, truly live your purpose. And I think that that's going to become very clear towards the end of this month, which is your month. And you have a lot of energy supporting you with that. And then finally, we have here the King and the Queen of Swords. So these are in your outcome energy for this month. And this feels incredibly tied to the intelligence card, because the King and Queen of Swords are all about intelligence and wisdom and really using their minds to strategize and balancing between the mind and the heart, and empathy versus strategy, as an example, and knowing what the next steps look like. Like the King and Queen of Swords take care of themselves in order to take care of the realm. They are, they can be thought of as shrewd or businesslike or tacticians, like that kind of thing. Uh, However, that they're just balanced. and and know that there has to be a level of thought, of perception, of intention that goes into the next steps, right? They're not super impulsive. They're going to weigh the options. They're going to look at, okay, what makes sense, what feels right. They're going to talk to their advisors and get outside perspectives as data to collect in order to make the best decision, right? But once they do make their decision, they do move quickly. But they do it because they're confident. They know that I've looked at all the angles. I know what kind of challenges might come up and that I'm prepared to tackle them. And if I need someone's support, I know who to connect with. And that's the thing, is they're not afraid to ask for support, knowing that they themselves can't do everything alone. That this is why we have community. This is why we have family and friends, is to help us with that. And as you go down your path, I think that that's a really important lesson for you, Cancer, because you do tend to take everything on yourself, which is what we've been talking about. And to no longer do that, and instead ask for support yourself. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you vulnerable. It makes you human. Okay, so let's see if we get a message here. Well, we will, from the moon. Oh, I like this. So for you, we have the fixed moon. Hold your vision. So your vision of your purpose, of your path, how you feel that you need to march forward is going to be very clear, and you're really being called to stick to that, to hold to your vision, to be confident, to know that you have made this decision with all of the intelligence that you've pulled together, all of the data that you've pulled together, and that it is the right decision. So really hold to that. Don't let yourself be swayed, because that can happen when you've been living your life for other people and then you decide to set boundaries and to start living for yourself. The people that were abusing that openness that you had, right? Once you set a boundary, if they're no longer benefiting off of your energy, they could try to dissuade you from keeping to your vision and living your life for yourself. And that is a great indication that those people were abusing your boundaries and your good nature. And it should just be confirmation for you that you're on the right track and to continue doing the right thing, or the thing that's most in alignment for you and your purpose. And then we'll get one final card here for you, one final message, because this is your month. And there's a lot going on, Cancer. Okay, and I love this. I love it. It's love, rose. So the plant that you're being asked to connect with is rose. And rose, of course, is the number one plant for the heart. And it's all about love. And this really feels about healing yourself. So I feel like this is going towards what we were talking about with the moon and how you're taking on, a lot of turmoil from the world around you and the people around you. And now is the time in Cancer season for you to reconnect to yourself, to give yourself some self-love, and to heal your heart for yourself, so that you are able to really reconnect to your true nature and your true path. And I would say, take a bath, get in the water, renew, refresh your energy, maybe throw some rose petals in there or some rose water, essential oils, anything like that. Make yourself a rose tea, because that's really going to help you to reconnect to yourself, and to show you that by really taking care of yourself and healing what it is that you need to heal within, that's how you can help other people, because you really do want to help other people. You have this very nurturing nature. but you need to nurture yourself first. And then that's how you share love with the rest of the world. So let me know if this resonated for you. Drop a note down in the comments. This is a general reading. It's not a personal reading, but I do personal readings. So if you want to go deeper, let me know and we can arrange something. If this message did resonate, then hit the like button, share, subscribe, do those things because this is a new channel and that does help. And let your friends know. Let me know. It's very important to me. And thank you so much for being here with me this month. And I will see you in the next one.